Well, hello. This is Backroads Brenton doing another video for you. It is, well, I don't know. What is it? Saturday? Saturday or Sunday, towards the end of February. I really start to lose track of time. I hardly pay attention even when I have a reason to. It's just, it's always been that way. All right, so I thought I would do a little video about, well, okay, so here's my camp tonight. I'm on the South Carolina-Georgia border. Kind of by a town named Barnwell. I've been taking back roads as, you know, as I do. And a lot of these towns are dead. I mean, I should do another video just to kind of give you my opinion of it. But, I mean, I don't know. This country, it's a mess. Everyone's just piled into big metropolises. And these little towns are just the hanger-oners. I mean, I live in a little town, and my town's dead too, but I chose to live there. And I don't know, bigger subject. Maybe I'll explore it sometime. But Barnwell was kind of interesting. It looked like it had a bit of a resurgence going on. Maybe it's close to a big city. I'd have to look at a map, but I think Augusta, Georgia is around here within an hour, which can, you know, keep a little town alive. But anyways, here's my camp tonight. I'm just kind of out in the trees. Like, you can maybe hear the road out there. It's beyond those trees there. And I came in on a little logging road back in there. And then I just started looking for the spot that was calling to me. And, you know, you get into this kind of stuff and one spot is as good as any, just about. But for some reason, I kind of settled on this spot because it looked kind of soft. I don't have the greatest sleeping mat, so I'm trying to look for some soft ground. And I thought I'd just go, like, give you a quick, you know, stuff I use. So I am no gearhead, I'm no tech head. I'm a frugal guy, you know, if that's not obvious. This tent was actually given to me by a friend, my friend Ryan, who lives in Alaska with his beautiful wife now. And I've just been keeping it alive. It was worn out when I got it, but it does have a rain fly, and it works pretty decent. That green tarp I put over the top of it when it rains, I've used it for like probably 3 years now, and it just keeps going. Gets the job done. I use a little bicycle pump. I carry it with me just in case I got to top off the tires or you know, get a flat tire. I've had to use a patch, one of those plugs before. I carry like a plug kit, and I have had to use it a couple times. And so that comes in handy if you're kind of stuck out in the woods like this, you know, and your tire's flat in the morning. I have a worn out sleeping bag. It's a Mountain Hardware. It needs to be replaced. It was actually too hot last night, but it's a down sleeping bag, probably rated at like 0, but it's been so abused and used, and it's time to replace it. And then I always carry like some kind of blanket to throw over the top of it, which actually makes a big difference. I have, you know, camped in some pretty cold conditions, and I found that, you know, just throwing like another blanket over the top of your sleeping bag can trap in the heat. It doesn't have to be anything too serious or too thick or too special. It just kind of it just kind of gives you like a cushion, or traps the air. Let's see, and I'm using like a yoga mat, which my buddy Ron loaned me because I have a thermarest, but I've had 2 of them actually, and I can't keep them. They go flat. I mean, they get holes in them. Like, I don't even know how it happens, but I give up on them. So I'm looking for another type of mat. Scooter Tramp Scotty uses, I think it's upholstery cushion. I'm going to have to talk to him about that. He's really got it dialed in. I mean, 22 years living on the road, so, you know. And I thought I'd do a quick, just a quick thing about why I ride this bike. So, in a nutshell, I've been riding since I was probably 5 years old. I started with little mini bikes, and I grew up in Northern California, and you know, we lived out in the country somewhat, and so riding motorcycles was like I just gravitated right to it. My dad rode motorcycles. My brother still rides, I think. So I've had a ton of bikes. I probably have had 50 bikes in my life. Everything from dual sports, little dual sports like 200cc Suzuki DR200s to like I had a DR650. I had a Honda XR650L, which I had tricked out pretty good. I've had a V-Strom. I've had a couple of street bikes. I had a Gullwing once, like an older 83 Gullwing, which I never really got to running quite right, and I never tried very hard. I just sold it. I made a few bucks on it. It really wasn't my kind of bike, though I can see how they could be appealing maybe in the future. But about 3 years ago, I finally discovered these, maxi scooters, these bigger scooters, And mine, of course, is the Honda Reflex. Mine's a 2004. I think they've sold them in the U.S. from 2001 to 2006, if I'm not mistaken. And then before that, they sold the Helix, which I also have a Helix. I picked it up last summer for my now ex-girlfriend, hoping she would maybe go on some adventures with me. Then I might sell it. I mean, it's a good one. It's a 2001. It's got new tires and stuff. It's only got 11,000 miles on it. Or I might keep it as a backup, though this one, no sign of dying yet, so who knows. I just turned 31,000 miles on it, and by the time I'm done with this trip, I'll probably have 34,000 maybe. And I guess in a nutshell, I would say that if you're just wanting to ride, I mean, it's not about you kind of have to be honest with yourself, and say, why am I riding? Some people ride because of the camaraderie of it, and the brotherhood of it, and that would be the Harley crowd to a certain extent, though not exclusively. And there's a lot to be said for that. And then there's I guess what would be the other side of the reason equation, which would be like you want to ride. You don't necessarily have a lot of money. You want to be comfortable, you want to get good gas mileage, you don't want to work on your bike a lot, you just want to cruise the back roads, then I would not, I couldn't find enough good things to say about these bigger scooters. Some people will say a 250cc scooter is not a big scooter, and they would probably be right. This is about the smallest you can go. I know they make little Elite 150s, and I think they make 200s. Yamaha makes like a Riva 200 or something like that, or used to anyways. I wouldn't go any smaller than a 250, and in fact, when this one does finally die, and I just either don't want to fix it or whatever, I'll probably go with a Bergman 400 and try that out, because it could use a little more power, though that said, this bike more than gets the job done. I've been on I-95 on this trip for probably, I don't know, 60 miles. I've ridden from the UP of Michigan down to Minneapolis a couple times on I-35, and I can do 70, and, I just get in the slow lane and let people pass me. If it pisses them off, that's their problem. And it gets the job done. Where it lacks a little bit is in takeoffs, especially if you go the car tire route, which I have. I've mentioned this probably more times than I need to, but I run a Geo Metro 12-inch car tire in the back. And because it's taller and wider, it makes a noticeable difference in taking off from a dead stop, especially, or on a hill, or so. And if you have a load, so I just kind of plan accordingly. Like, I don't pull out in front of traffic, anyways. I'm never in a hurry, and that pretty much will solve all your problems, is just don't get in a hurry. I know, what is the guy that's Lost with Mike? He has an awesome website, and he rode a Ruckus, 49cc Honda Ruckus, like 35,000 miles or more maybe. to Alaska and Key West, and does stuff like this. So it's, it all just depends on how fast you want to go and how much time you got, and all the obvious things which everyone has said. But it's it's nice to get the confirmations and be reminded. So this has been a big surprise to me. When I first bought it, I paid $1,300 for it. I bought it from an older fella that lived in northern Wisconsin. I think it only had about 10,000 miles on it when I got it, and I didn't have any great expectations. I just wanted something to kind of ride to work, go on little adventures and stuff, and figured I'd give it a try since it's one of the types of bikes that I have never given a try to. And it has turned out to just be exactly what I was looking for, at least for now. I did put a GV taller windshield on it, which I rode it for 2 years with the shorter one, and this was a great modification. I mean, it makes just a world of difference. I'm 5'10", and it sends the air right over the top of my head, so it keeps the rain off you if it's just misting. The other one just dumps right in your face. It's like, if you like wind in your face when you're riding, which I guess some people do, keep the shorter one. But I had to put a belt on it last summer. Here's another thing to consider quickly. When you're running this car tire, I think it's hard to run the belt. When I'm coming back into this dirt, I will sometimes get off and push, or I'll just kind of walk alongside of it, because you will slip the belt when you're trying to go low speeds in the dirt and the sand like this. And, that will reduce the longevity of your belt. So, it's something to be considered. Sometimes I can smell it, like when I'm coming back in here. I didn't this time because I really took my time, but there's times where I'm just trying to get back into a little hole or something, and it's kind of soft stuff, and I'm putting along or stopping and going. I can start smelling that belt, and that does concern me a little bit. But it's the fact that I don't even know when I bought it, I'm assuming it was the original belt, and I think I replaced it at like 22,000. So that belt lasted a long time. This one hasn't given me any signs of trouble. I carry an extra belt under the seat with enough tools to change it out. So, in theory, I could be even broke down out here and probably get out of here. So, I think this summer, when I get some time, I'm gonna flush the cooling system. Maybe I'll do another video about this, but ever since I've had this bike, the temp gauge does ride about 60% normally, like on a normal riding day. And if you kick it up on the freeway and really start pushing it, it'll crawl up to 65 or 70% even. So I don't think that's normal. I've always figured that temp gauges should be kind of dialed in the middle, when they're in normal operating temperatures. But if someone's got some information counter to that, please feel free to share it with me. But either way, I think it could use, just some attention on some wearables, because, I just ride and ride and ride. I mean, I'm just amazed every day when I get on this thing and I push the button and I warm it up, and then it's just go, go, go. Like, if you like to ride and just not think anything about it, if you want to see this country and you want to see the back roads and you want to see, off the beaten paths, and you're not a retired, person with plenty of money and plenty of time, then this is definitely a great way to go. Because I'll probably spend this entire month every day riding for 4 to 6 hours a day, and I will probably have not spent, I don't know, like $20 a day is my average. Sometimes more, sometimes a little less, and I could even make it less if I was trying. But and that's all because of the 60 to 70 miles per gallon and low to no maintenance. And you can change the oil in these things in a parking lot in an AutoZone with a quart of oil. They take a little bit more than a quart, But they have their own screens. You just clean up, make yourself a little oil catcher. I've done it several times. Do it right in the parking lot and recycle the oil, and you're good to go. This one's going to be due pretty soon, so another easy peasy thing. So anyways, I hope someone found this interesting. And I will just keep making reports, and until then, I'm just going to listen to some podcasts and drink a little coffee and figure out what I'm going to do this evening, and hope you guys are doing well. Catch you later.